I'll give you a quick introduction to the NumWorks calculator. If you don't have the physical calculator, or if you don't have it handy, you can download an app, and this is essentially the same thing, and it functions just the same as the NumWorks calculator. I'm going to use the website. You can also go to numworks.com and hit emulator, and this is a fully functioning calculator. So right now we want to go do some calculations, so I'm going to hit OK, and I can do 2 times 36 divided by 128, for example. You can hit EXE here, or you can hit OK, and it gives you both the fraction and the decimal representation of the answer. By the way, you can go to full screen as well, and you could see, maybe this will be easier for you to see what I'm doing, so I'll do that right now. So we just did a calculation. If you want to continue calculating things, let's multiply that by 12. You can just hit times, and it pulls up the last answer. And there we go. And let's say you made a mistake. You can go up and over and hit enter there, or OK. I'll take a shift to EXE. And now let's say we made a mistake. We didn't mean 36. We meant I'll clear that 3, just 2 times 6. So that's how you do some basic calculations. The functions work the same as you normally would expect. The sine of 30-degree angle is, sine of 30-degree angle is 1/2. And that reminds me that we could go maybe change the mode to radians if you're going to use radians. So I'll click on the home. Everything we've been doing has been in the calculations application, but we're going to show a couple of these others. The ones we're going to go to now is the settings, and hit OK. I'll change the angle measure, so hit OK to radians. Hit OK. By the way, if you want to get back quickly to the calculations, just double click on this and it jumps back up there, and hit OK. So now just to show that that worked, let's do the cosine of, let's say, 5 pi. Hold on a second here, I'm missing 5 pi divided by 6. And that's the answer. By the way, there's an interesting feature that if I've moved the cursor up into this line, there's a dot, dot, dot there. That means that there's some extra information there. You can hit OK, and it shows us where 5 pi over 6 is. So let's do a quick sketching a graph of something. So let's go over to functions, and we're going to add a function. So I'm just going to hit OK. And let's just make a function, let's say 5x minus 100. And just to graph it, we need to go over to graph. So I'm going to hit the up arrow and over to graph. And it did some nice things for us. It set the scale so we could see the y-intercept pretty clearly. Let's go back and add another function. By the way, you can cursor around and see different values of this. You can also go, I'm going to go over to table. Oops, hit the up arrow a couple times, go over to table, and you can see function values as well. But let me go back up there and go back to functions and add another function. And this time we'll make negative 2/3 x. Now, if I'm going to, let me just watch this. If I put x down there, that's still in the denominator. I don't want that, so I'm going to clear that. I have to move over and get out of being in the fraction before I get the x. Let's not make it minus, let's make it plus. Now let's go back to graph this. And there we go. So if I want to calculate where those two intersect, you can barely see it up there, but let's hit OK. And we're going to calculate, so I hit OK. We're going to calculate the intersection. And there it actually moved the graph a little bit so we can see it tells us it intersects at 24, 20 is the value where that intersection point is. One interesting thing is these functions that you put in First of all, they do use a function notation. If you're not used to that, you'll get used to it kind of quickly, I suppose. You can use the function notation here. I'll hit alpha f, whoops-a-daisy, f of 3. So this is using function notation. This plugs in 3 for x, and we can calculate f of 3 that way. So I use the alpha, and just the alpha letters are right up in the corner. So if I want to do g of -9, oh, let me just make this extra fancy. Let me go f of g of -9. If you don't know what this is, don't worry about it. You'll get to this in Algebra 2. That's 110. So that's a quick overview.